Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to look at the heavy armor in ArmA 3. We're going to be looking at the M2A1 Slammer, which is based on the Israeli Merkava. We're going to be looking at, what is this thing even called? The M4 Scorcher, which the chassis is the Merkava's chassis, but the turret is from an M109 Paladin. And we are going to be looking at the M5 Sandstorm. Again, the chassis is from the Merkava, and the turret is an MLRS. In addition to the Blue Force heavy armor, we're going to be looking at the OP4 heavy armor. And this thing, the T-100, is based off of a Russian prototype tank called the Black Eagle from the late 90s, early 2000s. And the same thing with the Sochor. It has the T-100's chassis and the M109 Paladin's turret. So, let's get started tanking. The main armament on the M2A1 is a 120mm cannon with a secondary armament of a 6.5mm coax, and there is no commander's gun on the Slammer. The main armament on the T-100 is the same. Again, it's a 120mm cannon. Its secondary armament is a 50 caliber commander's machine gun, but it has no coax. So, without further ado, let's blow some shit up. Now, you'll notice that the main gun itself is actually low and left of the camera, which leads to a lot of the shots going low and left. The fire control system on the tank allows you to sort of do a soft lock-on, which it's not really locking on, it's just auto-ranging. The standard loadout for the Slammer is 32 rounds of armor piercing, 16 rounds of HE, and 4,000 rounds of 6.5mm. Let's start with the HE, and we'll take out some soft and lightly armored targets. I believe one HE round is enough. Yep. There it goes. And let's step it up. We will see how many HE rounds it takes to eliminate a medium armor target. There we go. 1,000 meters out. Auto range on it. And that's the Merid, the wheeled OP4 APC. Now at this point, obviously it's completely disabled, but what I'm looking for is how many rounds of HE it takes for catastrophic destruction. That's 4 so far, which is pretty impressive. Let's try for a 5th. There we go. So 5 rounds of HE for total catastrophic destruction of medium armor targets. I don't even want to think how many HE rounds it would take for a heavy armor target. So let's go ahead and switch to AP and see how many rounds it takes to take out the T-100 itself. Now for this one, we'll fire into its rear armor, and then we'll go over and try its front armor as well. As I said, low and to the left. It's definitely magnified. So that's round number 4, and what this basically is telling me is that tank battles are going to be a ridiculous slugfest in ArmA 3, which should actually be pretty fun. And I don't know how far disabled that tank is at this point. I would assume that its engine is completely gone, but again, I'm looking for complete catastrophic destruction. And there we go. That was 6 rounds, or was that 7? We'll have to recount. And now let's go again on the front armor. Oh my. The front armor actually took less shots. I guess I hit more vital components with the AP than I was hitting when I was shooting it in the rear. So it seems that the AP rounds destroy targets based on everything they hit while they're traveling through. So, well, we'll check out the 6.5 real quick. And just for demonstration purposes, we will check out the T100. But as it has the same main armament as the M2A1, it's not going to be actually different at all. Now, for the T100, the camera is up and left of the cannon, which means the rounds are probably going to impact low and right. So let's check that out. Let's check it out on something that doesn't explode in the first shot. Looks like these rounds are also impacting low and left. Oh wow. So I took the auto ranging off and it looked like the round went much more straight to its target instead of being off. So let's try taking out some targets without having the auto ranging on. Let's see what happens. Alright, these targets are out at 600 meters. So let's adjust the zeroing to 600 for the tank gun. And fire. Now that hit almost right on. Let's turn the FCS back on and see where the round goes. So it definitely seems that the rounds go more towards the center of the reticle if you are not using the fire control system, which doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me, but maybe it's something that'll be changed or fixed in the future. Or I just don't understand how it works. Alright, now that we are done taking a look at the 2 main battle tanks, let's go ahead and take a look at the self-propelled artillery. The M4 Scorcher is a beast. It has a 155mm howitzer artillery cannon. It has a commander's gun that consists of not only a 50 caliber machine gun, but also a 40mm grenade launcher. And it has the chassis of the slammer with the turret of an M109 Paladin. So we were blowing shit up earlier, but now let's really see what it's like to blow shit up. So these targets are 1,000 meters out at a bearing of 011. So let's pop open the artillery computer and see if we can get some rounds on target there. Now, in the artillery computer, you will notice that the minimum firing range for the 155mm is 800 and I think 26 meters. I think that's what this number's indicating. That is the minimum range. So anything closer than that, you're going to have to use the commander's gun. And I believe this area right here is where those targets are at. So let's fire around. Oh, and before we fire, let's take a look at the different types of shells we can launch. We have HE shells. We have 32 of those. We have guided rounds, guided mortar rounds, which I assume are going to be used in concert with a laser designator. We have 2 of those. We have mine clusters, 6 mine clusters. And what this does is it drops anti-personnel mines. Cluster shell, now this thing, once you see it, you're going to go, holy shit. So we'll save that for last. We have white smoke, 6 white smoke, laser guided. I don't know what the difference between guided and laser guided are. And last is an AT mine cluster. We have 6 of those. So you can actually fire anti-personnel and anti-tank mines from this vehicle. So let's start with the HE rounds. And we'll fire. And then we'll stand by and watch for adjustments. There we go, right on. So, let's back out and we'll fire a couple more HE, and then we're gonna fire. Wow, that shell took out that light armor target, even though it hit about 20 meters off. So we'll fire a couple more HE, and then we'll check out some of the cooler rounds. Zoom out a little bit here, you can see the ETA of the rounds that are flying in. Can we get one more off? Let's observe. Oh boy. Ouch. Alright. Now let's just fire over here. So now we are 1,000 meters out at a bearing of 001 to 002. Let's see if we can take out these targets and that tank. But the first thing we're going to do is make sure we are firing the right spot. So bingo. So I'll fire a cluster of mines, which is anti-personnel mines, and then I'll fire a cluster of AT mines, which it automatically switched to for some reason. And let's check out what it looks like when those land. Oh, you can see it, but obviously there were no explosions. So now there should be mines everywhere around on the ground up there. And let's check out the cluster shell. Now, once you see what this thing does, you're going to be real disappointed that you only get 2 of them. Oh man. Oh man. I already knew what it did, and it's still impressive. Look at that. Alright, and as a final shot, we're going to see if we can take out that tank with the 155 rounds. Adjust a little bit over here and switch to HE shells. I don't know why it says 120mm HE shells. I think they're probably 155mm, and it just hasn't been adjusted properly yet. Oh, it looked like it blew up all the mines. Yeah, it did. That's pretty cool. Yep, you can see the mines popping off. So it's definitely going to take more than 3 rounds to get a shot precise enough to take out that tank. So let's fire about... we'll go with 10 more. Let's fire 10 more. Why not? Because this is the last thing we're going to do with this right now. It's still popping mines off all around. That's really cool. Oh my. That was probably as close to a direct hit as we're going to be able to get. So let's go ahead and be happy with that. And we'll say we tracked the tank. And it's no longer mobile. And let's move on to the last piece of heavy armor we're going to look at today, because it's the last piece of heavy armor that there is. We're going to skip the OP4 artillery armor because it's the exact same as this one, and we're going to move on to the MLRS. Now, once again, we're looking at a piece of heavy armor that has the same chassis as the Slammer, and the turret itself is an MLRS. And it's got, it looks like 12 rocket pods, so let's go take a look at what it can do. And it does, it has 12 230mm Titan missiles. So, let's see, I don't think they're guided. Let's just obliterate this little town right here. So, looks like we can fire across the entire island. There is no maximum range for the MLRS. So, we can fire 25 kilometers and we're not even on the tip, so we can fire at least 30 kilometers with the MLRS. So let's go back to the little town that we are going to annihilate. And the artillery computer on this works the exact same as the one on the Scorcher / Paladin. So let's fire 3 of these bastards and see what happens. And the reload time is negligible because they're all already staged. Oh my. Goodbye. Alright, so that wraps up our look at ArmA 3's heavy armor. I think everyone should be satisfied. We got to blow a lot of shit up, and it was pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as usual, thanks for watching.